Good morning, everyone. This is Laura from Healthy Carnivore. Let me just get this put away real quick. So I'm going to do a disclaimer because every time I do one of these videos in the kitchen, um, people who don't know me always make comments about the bread and buns in the background and the seasonings and all the stuff. I do not partake in any of that. Not that it's anybody's business, but I am truly carnivore. My husband still eats the regular standard American diet. He does eat healthier meats and fats, but he has not gone carnivore, and he probably never will. Very stubborn, but that's okay. So anyway, so that's my disclaimer that I don't eat any of those things. So okay, all right. So I'm gonna go over what I'm doing today. So I'm showing you how you can make your own tallow soaps. So you really just need to have tallow. I do think the higher quality ribeye fat rendered down to tallow is the best, but that's just my personal opinion. You need filtered water, you need lye, and you need an essential oil if you want a scent, or let's say like you want tea tree or rosemary to help with scalp, hair growth, stuff like that. That is something that you will want to add. You can add vitamin E, things like that if you want to. I don't for the body soap, but for the shampoo, I do. I put vitamin C and vitamin E in there. Let's see. Today, what I'm making, I'm going to show you real quick. So this, all those little things hanging around in there is lavender. So I'm making lavender body soap. So that's what I'm making today. So this is just my container that has my filtered water and the lye, and then you'll see I have a thermometer. And the reason I have that is because you want it to be down to 100 degrees when you're doing that. So I'll explain what I'm doing so you guys know. Hi, Leah. Hi, Dan or Dawn. Sorry, getting old. Dawn. So what I'm doing today is I'm doing a large batch of soap. This takes 4 to 6 weeks to cure. Um, and it just depends on the environment. Hi, Karen. So for this batch, I'm doing 32 ounces of tallow, 4.2 ounces of lye, 12.16 ounces of filtered water, and 1.5 ounces of essential oil. If you have followed me at all, you know I'm horrible at measuring out. I'll tell you the two things I do measure precisely is the lye and the filtered water. That really seems to be something you have to do. So I do have a food scale from back in the day. I don't weigh anything, I don't count anything as of this time. So what I do is I heat the tallow, I get it to a liquid. Then I went ahead and put in the essential oil, which was just the lavender essential oil that I make. And then also I have lavender that's dried that I took a mortar pestle and broke it down into a finer powder. I added that in there, and then I'm just, like I said, waiting for the towel or the lye and the filtered water to cool down. Both of these ingredients, when they come together, you want them to be at least less than 100, like right around 100 degrees. Because when you do, it's kind of a concoction. You want to do this outside. If you have lye and you mix water in it, it is a science experiment and it will come up on you. It comes up about here on this glass and actually comes to a boil while you're stirring it. Lots of fumes. Definitely be very careful. Do it outside. Once that bubbling process is done, it's safe to bring back in the house. So you can do it at that point. Let's see. And then I always have a good thermometer. Yeah. So I'm going to put that over here because I want to wash that because I use that for food as well for my husband because my stuff, it's easy. When all you eat is meat, it's pretty simple. So hopefully everybody's having a good Friday. I'm going to do another video in just a little while, and that is going to be on the tinctures and the oils that I make. I've had people ask, like, exactly what do those things do for you? So I want to go over some stuff with you guys on that. That'll be later because I'm going to go see my chiropractor, and then I have products to drop off in that town. So while I'm there, I'm dropping products off at people who have bought them. So I will see if I can get this to where it may cut my head off a little bit, but that's okay. I want you to be able to see that. Let's see if there's any questions. To make tooth powder. Oh yeah, perfect, Karen. Yeah, on the tooth powder, it's very simple. I start out with the xylitol in a food processor, I had to think, and I get that to a fine powder. Unless you bought it powdered, it's really expensive to buy it powder, so I buy it granulated. Um, and that xylitol is so important for the mouth because it kills so many of those bacteria that hide in the mouth, especially if you have root canal teeth that harbor it. So I start with that. I do the salt, baking soda together, blend that, and then I put in you can use diatomaceous earth if you have that, or you can use the clay. So it's up to you. And then I mix that together, get that stirred up pretty good, and then oh, good. So she said she bought my recommendations. Okay, that's good because that is what works well. Leah's asking, what dish soap do I use? I put vinegar in the water, and I actually am very hot water. I do white vinegar into that. I don't make a soap for that. I have a recipe, I just haven't done it because I do have Castile soap that I could mix and do that. I will probably do that one of these days. But right now, I use the white vinegar. It works for everything. And, with you eating a higher fat, higher meat diet, you end up with grease on everything and everywhere. So that's what I use. I use it as laundry soap. I do have um, dryer sheets that are Melaleuca. I don't use them on my clothes, but my husband likes to have a dryer sheet, so he uses them on his. I've tried to explain that when you use the white vinegar, it takes all that junk off of the clothes and they're super soft, but he thinks it's woo woo, so that's okay. He can have the dryer sheet. So it does cut the grease. Leah's like, it cuts the grease. Yep, it does. So I'll kind of show you what I'm doing here. So I do use an immersion blender also. Um, I've had this thing for as long as I've had my Hamilton Beach hand mixer. At least, God, my daughter's 33, and I know I had it before that. So been around for a while. So then what I do is I start blending the oil, together first, kind of get it working, and then I add in the water. So I'll kind of show you the steps. It'll be a little loud. And in the background, if you hear cracking and popping, it's because this big pot here, I am rendering down more tallow. So I'm going to show you something too. When you do that with the fat, see how it changed color? See how it's not see-through anymore? Isn't that neat? Not sure what that's called. I'm sure there's some scientific thing to that. And I just kind of pour this in slowly. Just let this kind of mix around. Just in case any of that lavender still has some chunks in it, it'll break that down. My kitchen smells amazing. It smells like tallow hamburger because I made a hamburger this morning with some ribeye fat and then lavender. Kind of a unique smell. So I don't know if you can see the drips. It's kind of like the old days when you used to make pudding. It's similar to that consistency, but I'll show you kind of see it's It's a little thicker than it was. I do tend to try to pour some of it back into this measuring because it's a little easier to get out. And then I just go ahead and I pour straight into the molds. But this is very simple. Like I said, anybody can do this. I do sell these on my website. Not everybody can get the ingredients. Um, it can be a little expensive when you first start out, but I figured it out that I make about, I don't remember, I think I make 50 cents a bar, and I'm keeping them very cheap. I had somebody reach out yesterday that wants to buy some, and she said she spent $19, about died, on I think it was a shampoo bar, she said. I just was like, $19? Nope, you're never going to see that from this girl. That is ridiculous. You don't have to make a killing. Even if that's the way you're making your living, I don't think that's the way to do it. So let me see if there's any questions. Perfect. Do you use your bar soap for your hand soap? Yes, you can use it for hand soap, body soap, anything. The other thing too that I'll tell you about the shampoo bars, which I'm making body soap, but the shampoo bars are similar, is that can be used on animals. So your dogs, your cats, especially if you have a dog that has issues with any skin issues, this is something that I would recommend using. Good morning, Kimberly. Um, that's what I would do. So I'm going to put this back up so you can see my face. If any of you were around in the 80s, if somebody says my face is on fire, you'll know who I'm talking about. I don't say that person's name anymore because of what he did to people. But anyway, it was funny back in the day. Was one of my favorite human beings for a long time. So when I'm done pouring these into my molds, I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It doesn't make the most beautiful color. I could use colorings, but as we know, most of the colorings that are out there are not safe. Really should not be being used. I try to make each of these bars 3 ounces. Oh, let's see. Where did I? Oh, duh. Oh boy. Ever have one of those days where you're like, am I awake? Why did I give up coffee years ago? I'm kidding. I'm glad I gave up coffee. Maybe some of you guys haven't. I will drink it one day on the weekend usually. Um, and it's watered down and it's from Melaleuca. And I get it in the beans and then I grind it myself. So let's see. Remy, what do you do if you get the lye on you? Also, how do you wash all your utensils after having the lye in it? Vinegar and water, hot water. If I get lye on me, I actually will go into the bathroom, wash my hands, and then I come out and put tallow on it. I have done it many times. And it'll get a little hot, it'll feel warm. And then I put the tallow on there, same as if I get a burn. I've had something about this left arm. I had an old burn that was triangle that I did on the air fryer. And I mean, it was bad. Put tallow on it. And then last week I had grease splatters. I had 4 pretty good burns that I immediately put the tallow on there. So I use white vinegar for a lot of cleaning. I came across the video, said I was with you since 2013. Holy moly. So did you watch me when I was doing keto cooking videos? Um, yeah, maybe. I love my cup hot coffee in the morning and cold coffee. Oh, Yeah, my daughter absolutely loves coffee. She was a barista, for a couple years and managed that place, so yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, and then Kelly Nora is asking, "Can you use lard?" You absolutely can use lard. If you had duck fat, goose fat, any of that, you can absolutely use. So yes. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, Kimberly's like, "Yep." Well, good. So then you know Heather Whitman then too, because we did those videos a lot of times together, and she just got married, which is awesome. She deserves it. She's a wonderful human. All right, so that is what they look like. Look at those disgusting vegetables that my husband eats. Ugh, squash. Ugh, I can't even imagine. Never liked squash even back in the day, but I can't even. Just the name should tell you, don't eat me. This is horrible to eat. I'm gonna even this out a little because I'm OCD, and so I'm gonna even one of these out so that it is, like I said, these are set up to be 3-ounce bars, and I do try to get them as close as uniform as possible, mostly because of my OCD. Yeah, I'm dropping off some facial serum and some shampoo bars today to people in the town that I'm going to where my chiropractor is. So we'll see. All right, that should be pretty darn close. So yes, if you get lye on you, um, everything says that if you're working with lye, even if it's outside, you should be wearing goggles. Um, so you have to do whatever you think safest for you. I can promise you I do not, because I don't follow directions at all. The more somebody tells me I have to do something, the more I go the other direction. Kind of like in 2020 and 2021. Let's see. Dealing with the lie is my biggest fear. Oh, it's really not bad. Like get if you're going to make a batch that eventually, once you would get all your ingredients together, come up to here, as long as you do your filtered water and lye in something that's big enough, like a Pyrex, so it can take the heat. And then I use a spoon. I did a wooden spoon originally, and it ate the wooden spoon. But then I do one that has silicone, and it doesn't do anything to the silicone. But you just go outside. I put it on something so it's up a little bit off of the cement, and I just sit there and pour it, and I make sure the wind's going the opposite direction. That's what I do. And I've never had any issues with that. And I have asthma, so it could. All right. Yes, Karen. I just made some more facial serum. I think it was Wednesday morning before I went to see my asthma allergy doctor. Um, so I thought she was going to have to be fired, because she's conventional thinking, and wanted me to stop taking. I take one medication prescription, and that is called Theophylline for asthma, and I've taken it for 43 years, and it keeps my asthma in check. I don't take it. I don't have to take a rescue inhaler. I don't have any of that. So last time I was there, she was like, "Oh, we're going to wean you off," and I'm like, I said, "No, we tried that before. I've tried that twice and ended up in the hospital with severe pneumonia. I'm not going there again. And I can just order it through a pharmacy." And she goes, "Okay." So then this year, I had to move my appointment out a month, which meant I ran out, or was going to. I didn't run out because I'm a prepper. I have plenty. But called up to the office and they said, "Oh, she's not going to refill that." And I said, "Well, then I'm not coming back," because I had to move the appointment because of their office needed to move that appointment. And I'm going to be out of medication. And so they went ahead and filled it for a month. But then when I got up there, and she's very nice, she's young, she's well doc, mm, well educated in medicine. And so I went into, what about mast cell activation syndrome? I've never been checked for that. What about, with all the intolerances I have to food and everything in my environment, grass, trees, dust, dirt, I mean, everything, cats, dogs, horses, everything that I am surrounded by, I am allergic. I had reactions to. Um, And I said, "And what medication do you have that is going to replace theophylline that's gonna work exactly as it has for me?" And she was like, "Well, I don't really have one." I said, "Then why, if I have no symptoms, because they say it can cause tachycardia. Well, I don't have tachycardia. My heart rate's 50 to 60 at the most." And so I said, "So if it works for me, it's worked for 43 years. I have none of the side effects. Why would we stop it?" And I said, "I know you guys like to go off of numbers instead of looking at your patient and seeing what works for them." She goes, "Well, you'll be my only patient on theophylline." I said, "I don't care." So she agreed to continue me on the theophylline. Um, she did say, "Well, last time you said you could get it through a pharmacy." And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "There's a pharmacy where I can get all kinds of medications that are necessary, especially in like if the shit hits the fan type episode." Um, and I said, "Yeah, and I don't have to have a prescription." And she goes, "I don't believe that." And I said, "Well, here's a bottle of the same medication that you're saying you won't give me. And it came from the United States. It was made here, shipped there, shipped back, cheaper than I can buy it here." So, and then she was like, "Well," she goes, that probably won't be there for long." And I said, "Well, they've been there for 15 years. So we'll see how that goes." So let's see. My doctor just got fired. Sometimes you have to. My doctor just got fired, Kim Meyer, saying cholesterol was 270, which is, yeah, mine's 360. And he's wanting to put me on pills. I lost weight since April and my blood pressure is, oh, wow, 126 over 62. Liver and kidney numbers are all good. Why would you change anything? You're better. You've lost weight. All your numbers are good. And who gives a crap? Literally in 1980, they wouldn't even be talking to you about a cholesterol pill because you're below what their range used to be in 1980, which they continue to drop down every 5 to 10 years. So, yeah. Let's see. Karen says, "So far, my allergy induced asthma is gone. Only flares if I get sick or cold." That's good. That's good. I don't know. Let's put it that way. I don't know if my asthma would be fine if I like titrated myself off of that. I might do that as an experiment, an N equals one experiment to see, because I do know I still have all these food intolerances. I can do a half a strip of bacon. I can do one egg if I do the whole egg. I can do 10 egg yolks and it does nothing if I can take away the whites. So I know it's a histamine issue. So that's why I wanted, and she did send me to the lab to be tested um, for, I believe was it tyrosine, tyrosol? It was tyro something, um, to see if I have that mast cell activation. So we'll see. I would say I do. Kimberly Meyer. Kimberly, I would get up and walk out. I don't know if you've seen my video on firing my doctor back in 1991. I did that. We're paying them and their license on the wall, not to take their education away, but their license on the wall says practicing medicine, which I'm okay with. But then they're going to have to also listen to how my body's working, how I feel, how my hair is, how my hormones are doing. And if they're not willing to do any of that and have no want to listen to any of that, then I'm done with them. Um, I did fire my doctor. I handed him back his little prescription for Lipitor, which was fairly new. It came out in 87. This was 91. I handed that to him and told him how ashamed I was of him not knowing how my body works. Because in 9 months of going keto from the standard American diet, I had lost 153 pounds. And my triglycerides went from at least 1,000. They don't know how high. They know that's as high as their meter went, down to 33 is what I went to. So, hey, Brett. Brett's here. Let's see, Michelle. I just ordered tooth powder, tallow, and shell. Oh, and shampoo bars. Looking forward to getting it. Thanks for all you do. You're welcome. Michelle, I am not any orders that came in. I had somebody who wanted me to hold off on sending their order because they were gone during the week and they didn't want stuff to melt. So I'm going to hold off of sending any orders that came out in the last day and a half till Saturday. That way, because Sunday, Monday, because of holiday, I don't want it to be sitting in the thing. Most of the time, you don't have an issue, but like if you get lotion or the shave cream or anything like that, if it would melt, all you have to do is shake it, put it in the fridge, take it out in about 15 minutes, shake it really good, and it usually will reconstitute to where it was. Let's see. Karen just had thyroid labs done. Been having horrible symptoms. My insurance won't cover armor thyroid. Any suggestions for support? I was pleased. My BP was 127 over 78. Um, how do I say? Well, I would wonder how good of eating fat you are, because usually that will help boost, your hormone production. Um, there are some items, out on the market, like Pure Encapsulations makes a thyroid formula. I cannot remember what's in it. I had somebody else that was having trouble, and she went on that for about 3 months and then really upped her fats with doing that, and then took herself off of that, slowly. And her numbers have been fine. And when you say your thyroid numbers are off, is that your TSH, your T3, T4, free T3, free T4, or reverse T3, reverse T4? Because all of those mean something different. We go to the doctors and they attack the thyroid because the TSH is high. Well, here is the brain thing. The pituitary gland is the one that puts out the TSH and sends it to the thyroid. So I'm like, hello, and PTH, parathyroid, also stimulating hormone. So I'm like, why are we going after this when there's something up here causing it to do that? Most likely it's probably from toxic, like metal, heavy metal, like your mercury, different things like that, which you can do heavy metal detoxes too. So you could also try that. Remy. Yeah, I try not to get too preachy, but it's hard to do sometimes. So Kimberly, I've been with him 15, 16 years, but I'll find another doctor here in South Carolina. Yeah. Well, and this is what I recommend. And even these people you have to vet. So if you can afford to try to find a functional doctor, some insurances will pay for functional holistic doctors, some will not. Ours, the one I have, will pay for like the visit, but if there's certain testing they want to do, they don't necessarily cover that. But I work at a health department, and you can go to a health department, and it is pennies on the dollar for the same labs that the hospital usually runs. So I would look into that. Let's see. Karen says waiting for labs, but symptoms are off the chart. Hair loss, nail ridges. Yep, I look for those on all my patients. Can't lose weight. Yeah, trying to. I would look, and I'll see if I can find that Pure Encapsulations. And let me stir this real quick. I will see if I can find that Pure Encapsulations. Um, that the other gal had really good results with. I think Dr. Eric Berg also has a formula, but I haven't ever had anybody use that. And then I'm going to be in Kentucky. Oh, Louisville, Kentucky, October. I can't wait. I'm going to go to Keto Palooza. Is anybody on here going to be at Keto Palooza? Like Brett. I want to meet you all, but I've never met Brett. And so I'm hoping he's going to be at the Keto Palooza. That would be awesome. So, Karen, I will look to see if I can find what that formula is, the thyroid formula. I would not do any major fasting because that's going to bump your cortisol up. So I probably wouldn't go, I wouldn't fast longer than like 16 hours. I just wouldn't. I would stay satiated. Um, and I would bump the fat up. And even if I gained 10 pounds when I went to carnivore, um, which about killed me because, we just are like, it's all about the numbers. But I knew that it was because I was healing things on the inside. So I stuck with it. And thank God my scrubs are big enough that I didn't have to go into a different size of scrubs. But yeah. So anyway, sometimes you have to heal what's going on inside the body before you start to drop any kind of weight. So yay. Brett says he will be at Keto Palooza. Good, good, good. I can't wait. I can't wait. I need to see Russ and you guys, and I am excited. My husband, I told him to bring bail money just in case, because, uh, I'm not a gambler. Like, I think Russ likes to gamble a little bit. I don't think he's crazy, but I think he likes to go do those things. So let's see. Remy, I'm with you on that. I wish more people understood that the doctors work for us. I tell people that all the time. It makes my heart happy to hear other people say the same. Um, I knew that from a very young age. I was raised next door to my grandmother, came through Auschwitz. Um, and she said two things to me that were profound. One, she said, it's not the government's job to take care of your sorry ASS. She said, any government that wants to take care of all of its people's needs has an ulterior motive. That was the first thing. And boy, are we seeing that. Hello. Um, Suspicious, to say the least. And the other thing she said is you don't argue with the judge and you do not argue with the policeman, but you do argue with your attorney and your doctor. You're paying them for a service. Doesn't mean what you want to have done is necessarily 100% correct and they have to go with you, but they do have to work with you. And if they are just looking at the computer and doing everything here, which is 90%, it's like type in your symptoms, tells them the diagnosis, types in more of the diagnosis and things and the codes to go with that. Here's your medications. That's what they do. And that is 90% of them. So I always welcome any of them to tell me that that's not how they do it since I've been a nurse for over 21 years. And that's exactly what I see. So let's see. Yeah, Remy, that would be awesome. I will on Friday and Sunday. Yeah, you live fairly close, I think, don't you? You're not like I'm like 6 hours, 7 hours away or something. Maybe you live a little closer. I'm leaving here on Thursday, so I should be there Friday, Saturday, and then I'll leave probably Sunday. I'm not sure how early. Because my husband is coming. He won't be at the events because he's not keto, carnivore, nothing. But he wants to work Monday. I am not working Monday. It's my son's birthday also, and it's Columbus Day. So whatever that means. Let's see. Oh, Leah is asking, do you use a regular toothbrush or a boar bristle bamboo toothbrush? Yes, I do use the bamboo. I bought bamboo toothbrushes for everybody, and I have, like I said, I'm a prepper. So in my boxes in there, I have that. I have the hairbrushes that are the natural, the bamboo. Um, yeah, so I have a ton of those, but that's what I use. And let's see, I would love to go to Ketapalooza. Haven't been to any meetups this year. I need a reset. Yeah, I think it does help to kind of hear other people's stories that maybe have had the same thing. My thyroid, my pituitary, my adrenals, everything I think is pretty good now, but I have been doing this for over 5 years. Um, Kimberly says, I would love to go, but I don't want to travel by myself. Well, if you live closer to me, you could ride with me. I don't mind. I'm going to be doing the driving. No offense to my husband. Um, He doesn't like traffic. He grew up in a town that had, I don't even think if it had 1,200 people, maybe, which is fine. He just likes to drive slow and he likes to gawk. So there's a tractor out in the middle of the field. If there's somebody out there doing something, he's eyeballing it. So I don't want to be off in a wreck either. So I kind of usually drive. But yeah, I think it's good to go around people like that so that you can run into and ask questions of people that maybe have had exactly your same issues. Um, and like I said, I don't know if you feel like you're getting enough fat in and if you're eating enough, because we have been for, what, 3, 4 decades being taught to starve yourself, to eat low fat, da, 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 and that is such a hard thing to kind of wrap your mind and get away from that. So it was hard for even me, and even 2 years ago, I noticed that I started having some trouble with my hair, and I thought, what is going on? And I started looking at the way I was eating, and I was like, oh, I had cut back on my fat. And so at that point, I decided I'm going to do the ribeye fat bites, and I do those every day, anywhere from a fourth to a half of a pound, and I use that as my side to whatever kind of meat I'm eating. So 2 hours away from Louisville. Brett says he's 2 hours away, so that's not too horrible. That's doable. I wish I was closer to some of these areas, but I'm just at the far side of Illinois, and I am so far. And then with my career, um, being a home health nurse, you are on call a ton. So, like when you did your meetup, I was on call, and there's only one other nurse for me to trade with, and she has some health issues going on. Um, Doctor's treating her thyroid and it's her pituitary, but that's okay. We're working on the backside of things, so we'll see if we can get her fixed up a little bit. And I think she's willing to try those things to get better. So we'll see. So anyway, does anybody have any questions before I go? I am going to, like I said, I'm going to go see the chiropractor, drop off my products to people that purchased them that's in the same town as my chiropractor. Then when I get back, I will do a video, like I said, like on my dandelion tincture, elderberry tincture, my lavender oil, and my oregano oil. So I will do a live on that as well. I won't necessarily mix them and do them because I have plenty of that, but I will give you kind of the idea of how to do it if you want to do it. Leah says, for the toothbrush, do you use boar or nylon? Oh, it's boar bristles. Yeah. Yeah. I don't do the nylon bristles, and I don't know, maybe they're fine, but I never liked the way they felt on my gums. And I used to just brush my gums a lot because I had my mother has a receding gums very bad. She lost her uppers when she was 22, 23. So I always wanted to prevent that. So I just would sit there and just do that. So I like the boar bristle much better. Let's see. Oh, well, Brett, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, a fishing tournament's a pretty big deal. Good luck fishing. I hope you do great. Um, so otherwise, yep, you're welcome, Leah. Um, Otherwise, I will be back on here in a little while. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments, anything you'd like to see me make, I haven't made the chapstick live. I'm trying to think that might be the only thing I haven't made live. And maybe the shaving cream, but the shaving cream takes so much whipping that's all you're going to hear is that machine, like my hand mixer, just whipping for can be up to an hour depending on how the atmosphere is. So I don't do that. But if there's something else that you have questions on, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Please like, share, subscribe. Oh, and one more thing. We do the Fierce Felines. We do have a 24/7 Marco Polo group that you can get into. I think you have to click on membership in YouTube. Each of us have a membership tab now. I have one that I do for members only. I think it's like $2.99. I have a $5.99, and then the $19.99 is the one that you can get in. And we send you the link for our Marco Polo group. And so basically, you can send questions and things to that Marco Polo group. And Marco Polo is a free app that you download. We've used it for a year just so you are back and forth. And it's so nice because you watch the person's question video, they can show you if they have a skin issue, whatever the thing is, and then it's saved and you can watch it again if you need to, but you can watch it live and then you can reply and record yourself answering the questions and going over that stuff. So it's really nice to have. And then we're all in different time zones, but you basically have us and the knowledge that we have 24/7. So that is something that you can do if you would like to. It is a little expensive for me. I did not originally want to do that, but I do think there are some people who can, and I do think you will get more than that amount of benefit from it, but I understand. Ooh. So Karen said she wished that they lived closer because her husband just acquired a lot of fishing tackle. My entire garage looks like a fishing store because my husband loves it. Sharon Esterson, I am sub clinical hyper T3, T4s, always in range, been like that since 2009. Menopause kind of had me chasing all of the, ologists. Added Lugol's and TSH came up, but don't know if that's a false number. It can help with that. Many of us are very, very deficient in that. So whether you're doing 2% or 5%, however many milligrams you actually are doing, um, I see people who do have benefits from that. Some don't see a benefit, others do. So that is something you can do. And on your T3, T4, I always say you need to get reverse T3, T4 done. That is a better measurement too. So I don't know if you've had that done, but that would be one that I would do. That'll kind of tell you if you're not converting the T4 to T3, which is T4 is inactive. It does nothing other than it converts into T3. And you need to see if that's where the issue is. That's what I would do. Kimberly says, yes, do a chapstick video. I will do that. There's supposed to be, if you go to my homepage up above, there should be a join tab. I don't know. It had a bunch of different tabs, but there should be one that says join or membership. Because like I did that on somebody's the other day. I joined theirs and theirs said join, somebody else's said membership. So that's the only way I know about going about doing it, unless there's another way if somebody else knows how to do that. So hubby makes makes jigs. Nice. Oh well, Karen, you should put that in here. His website, because my husband would absolutely buy those. So put that in the comments what his website is called. That way people can go to that. So that's what I would do. Brett says he's going to order some body soap bars. Okay, I do already have some. I've got vanilla that's already done, like it's cured. I think I have some other ones on there. You may have to look on the website. I can't remember offhand. And then the ones I made today are lavender, which anybody can use. They're very good for relaxation and they're good for the skin. Those take 4 to 6 weeks to be ready. So reverse numbers were good, but haven't had those done in a few years. Yeah, I would definitely have those checked again, just so you can kind of see if you're not converting that T4 into T3, which is usually what we see. Karen, I'm sure the doctor didn't order. Nope, you have to practically stand on your head to get some of these people to do it. But a functional holistic doctor is going to be more likely to do it. But even those, you do have to kind of vet them to see if they're good or not, because some of them, they're just as bad. Yep. Yeah, and sometimes remember you can always go out to that ownyourownlabs.com and you can put in and get your labs that you want to have done. You just have to have a LabCorp facility, which are they're everywhere. They will take those orders. So you could do that yourself. And it's pretty inexpensive. It really was pretty cheap. So that's what I would do. All right, I'm going to get off here, stir my beef cracklings over there. Since I can't do pork, I can't do those cracklings, but which I would love to, but I cannot. So anyway, I will be back later on today. I will see you guys later. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments. Thanks.